welcome to the Church of Thomas. This sermon is called the Golden Rule Sermon. It was given on 5/27/07. I have heard a few ministers talk about the Golden Rule. Many do not go into it because it is considered passé by some. After all, everybody knows it. Most children, when they're growing up, could tell you that it is the way to behave. I've noticed fewer children and adults, for that matter, keeping it in mind in their everyday activities. Maybe it is time to talk about it again in a new light. Most people do not know that there is a version of the statement in all major religions. Do unto others as you would have them done unto you is often in negative. Don't do to others what you do not want done to you. It may seem like a small difference, but it makes it an active attitude instead of a defensive posture. It often has a similar result, so it is considered the same. Some New Age ministers are using this similarity as a sign that all religions are equivalent. There are even Christian ministers that are trying to be politically correct, that are saying that the statement makes religious differences just a matter of rituals performed. Jesus was relaying an active, reaching out to others message. He did not say, just love your friends and family. It is even derided as the easy way out. That was brought out by the phrase, even the pagans love their family and friends. What was called on was more. I have often thought of how the Golden Rule is practiced. It is a good rule. I have noticed that evil has a really good handle on it as well. It has been used to persecute Christians. The first way is to tell someone who you want to abuse that you are not acting very Christian. The second way is for evil to practice a letter of the law kind of golden rule. In Jesus' charge to the disciples, he sent out for the first mission, he explained. Jesus told them to first look for open minds. Stay with people who invited the disciples to stay. He did not say, go up to the most belligerent, inhospitable place you could find. So to me, Jesus may have wanted everyone to hear, but recognized that some people were not ready to listen yet. He told them to bring nothing extra with them. This was meant as a show of faith, both to the disciples, but also to the people they shared the message with. One way or the other, they would have what they needed. Jesus went on to say, to be as innocent as doves. This would be a golden rule side of his instructions. They were to be peaceful, non-confrontational, healing, and caring for the people they stayed with and ministered to. They acted in a gentle manner to help people open up to them. Then God warned them about hostility. He said to be as wise as serpent. This was in reference to the Garden of Eden serpent, who led the way to ultimate knowledge. This would be a departure from the idea of the Golden Rule. To be wary is by its nature to have your guard up. It is a block out of potentially harmful words and actions. I could not articulate this idea until recently. I read an article about a researcher who did a study on game theory. It was fascinating. The researcher did behavior experiments with college students. The first version of the game they played was cutthroat, winner take all. The more aggressive you played, the more you win. The second version was a reciprocal type game. Part of your winnings would be tied to the other person's success. If you were not too greedy, you both could get some of the pot of money. They had a version where altruism netted you the most money. The strategies that were successful were named for medals. Altruism was named the Golden Rule. Reciprocity rule was called the Bronze Rule, and the cutthroat strategy was named the Iron Rule. The results were interesting. The Iron Rule aggression escalated, Only the most aggressive survive to win any of the competitions. This could be equated to war. The Bronze Rule was the most successful. It basically was started by the idea that someone was going to cooperate with you to help you win the prize as well. Literally in this game, if you always won, you got less and less prize. The Golden Rule did fine until there was a defection to take advantage of the altruistic playing partner. The Bronze Rule seemed to go like this. You started being friendly and stayed with that until the other person tried to cheat you. Then you withdrew your cooperation. If they redeemed themselves with 2 times as much atonement as they caused you harm, you returned to friendly play again. It was not bashing them, but it allowed them to be forgiven. I see a place for spiritual equivalent of the Bronze Rule. It is the way to protect yourself against the evil influences of the world without giving up your ability to forgive. Literally, it is not cost-effective for evil to use this rule to hurt you. I think this is what Jesus meant about being wise as a serpent. I was also taught a different way of looking at the Golden Rule. This view takes the Golden Rule to its full potential. It might be phrased differently. Remember what I said about evil using the letter of the law to pervert the Golden Rule? An example might be the idea that you give something you dearly enjoy, but it is bad for them. You would follow the letter, but not the spirit of the Golden Rule. For instance, you would be overjoyed to get a peanut butter sandwich. It is your favorite. What if the person you want to give it to is allergic? You could easily be the cause of their death. What about the proud papa whose own father had bought him a prostitute on his 18th birthday? Papa fondly remembers it even to this day. Aside from the obvious ethical problems, what if this young man was gay? Would this be great or the most embarrassing memory of their lives? The Golden Rule that I was taught was worded differently. It stated that you should find a person's need and then help them to get it. It is the next step in the evolution of this rule. It was turned from passive defense to active but misused to active and compassionate. Let us recap the ideas talked about here. Most religions have the Golden Rule as a keystone of ethical behavior. Christianity was the first to change the wording from a defensive way to live. It taught us to use it in an active way. In addition, Jesus taught us that this rule was meant as an outreach. The rule that Jesus taught us to use was not just Christians, but for everyone. Golden Rule, as the Bible states, is not compassionate and is open to the abuse by evil. If you find this happening, start protecting yourself with the Bronze Rule. The Golden Rule reaches its full potential by being loving and open as much as you can. It then encourages you to look beyond what you would like to give the real need that you can meet. In separating your ego from the gift, it can truly be a customized outreach to the other person. Evil cannot use you to give harm instead of help. God bless the whole world. No exceptions. Angel.